Now, one of Britain's most senior Muslim politicians is the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan. I spoke to him earlier. He joined me from City Hall with strong words of reassurance for London's residents, for visitors and businesses. Mayor Sadiq Khan, welcome to the programme. And let me first ask you what everybody, I'm sure, in the city wants to know. Do you have the confidence to be able to tell people in this city and those who want to visit from abroad that there isn't going to be a follow-on? What are law enforcement telling you about this particular attack and its aftermath?
Well, London is the safest global city in the world and one of the safest cities in the world. My thoughts are with the family of Keith Palmer, the police officer who tragically lost his life yesterday, keeping our city and keeping Londoners safe. And one of the reasons I can say that London is the safest global city in the world and one of the safest cities in the world is because there were literally tens and thousands of Keith Palmers keeping our city safe, working with members of the public who provide intelligence and information, working with our security services. You will see over the next few days an increased number of armed and unarmed officers across London. You'll see some change around some of the buildings with bollards being put in place. But we are a very safe city. The intelligence we have is that this was an attack from a lone attacker, a lone terrorist, trying to destroy our way of life, trying to divide our communities, trying to kill as many people as possible and injure as many people as possible. And one of the reasons why few people were killed, few people were injured, is because of the bravery of our police service, the bravery of our emergency services, and because we've practiced and prepared for events such as this.
The assailant was killed, and the police have been conducting raids, not only in London, but in Birmingham, north of here. They've raided, we are told, 6 addresses, and they've made 7 arrests. What can you tell us about those arrests, particularly the ones that have happened in London?
Well, I've got to be very careful what I share with you on the media for reasons that you'll appreciate. What I can share with you is that a number of properties have been raided across the country. A number of people have been arrested. And it's really important to reassure Londoners and visitors. The police and the intelligence services are doing all that they can to investigate this matter as soon as they possibly can. There is still a small part of Westminster that's been cordoned off whilst the police carry on their investigation. There was only one man inside the car that attacked men, women and children on Westminster Bridge, and only one man who went into Parliament. He was shot very, very quickly and lost his life on the scene. Londoners and visitors should be reassured we are a safe city, but there will be additional security across London.
So, Mayor, what does one do then as mayor, as head of the police, as intelligence chiefs, in a city like London, which is a magnet for tourists from all over the world? They come by foot, by tube, by bus, by car, to visit the bridge, the river, the Parliament. And the bottom line is we understand that the majority of those who were injured and lost their lives on the bridge may have been foreign. At least a big number of those may have been foreign tourists. What do you say to these people about whether they can ever be fully 100% secure in today's environment?
Well, we know that over the last few years, terrorists have tried to find new ways to harm us, to kill many of us, and to destroy our way of life. But just like they've been evolving and adapting, so have police and security services. We've been evolving and adapting to find new ways to keep us safe. Over the last 4 years alone, there have been 13 separate serious terrorist attempts which have been thwarted by the expertise of our police and security services, and because of the intelligence and information provided to our police by members of the public. Unfortunately, yesterday this lone attacker was successful. But because of the preparation and the practice we have done, far fewer people lost their lives, far fewer people were injured than would otherwise be the case. It is the position that the threat level today is the same as it's been for a number of years now, which is severe. That means an attack is highly likely. And the Met Police Commissioner said last year, he's recently retired, that as far as an attack was concerned in London, it was a question of when, not if. And so we're never complacent. We're always vigilant. We're doing all that we can to keep Londoners and visitors safe. We've got the best police and security service in the world. I say this because of my experience over the last 10, 11 months working with them. And I'm confident we're doing all that we can to keep our city safe, to keep Londoners safe, and to keep visitors safe.
Mayor, obviously, the notion of social cohesion is vital to keeping communities together and fending off this kind of attack. Are you concerned that because of the name Birmingham, because of the raids in some of these places which have previously been identified as where attacks may have been planned or people are concerned about some areas, that there may be a backlash, an over-the-top investigations or arrests in some of the cities? Are you concerned about that?
It's worth reminding ourselves why the terrorists hate us so much. They hate the fact that here in London, across our country, Christians, Jews, Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Buddhists don't just tolerate each other, we respect each other, we celebrate each other, we embrace each other. We have a vibrant democracy, we have civil liberties and human rights, and that's what they hate. We police by consent, though, and that means working with the communities, being our eyes and ears to provide us with intelligence, to give us information to help keep us safe. And the police are acting on the intelligence they've got. There's been raids across the country, not just in Birmingham, but in London and other cities across the country. Some arrests have been made. But members of the public, whatever faith they are, recognise the police have a very important job to do to investigate this matter, but to keep us safe. It's the police we ring when we fear for our personal safety. It's the police we ring and give information to if we are suspicious of people within our community.
Mayor, you have said that this was precisely the nightmare scenario that you were dreading, like many mayors in many parts of the world in the current environment. I wonder, I know you don't want to talk politics today, but whether you have a reaction to the sort of knee-jerk tweet that came out of the United States from the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., referencing an interview you'd done months ago and saying, "You've got to be kidding me," regarding the frequency or the likelihood of terrorism in big cities today.
Well, I'm not going to respond to a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. I've been doing far more important things over the last 24 hours. What I do know is that the threat level in London and across the country is severe. That means an attack is highly likely. I was in New York last year when there was an attack in New York, and terrorists hate the fact that whether it's New York, whether it's London, whether it's Paris, whether it's Brussels, whether it's Istanbul, whether it's Madrid, we have diverse communities living together peacefully. We've got a situation where Parliament is returning to normal today, City Hall is returning to normal today, tourists are returning to London today, businesses are returning to normal today, just the thing that the terrorists hate. And I'm not going to allow terrorists to divide London, to destroy our way of life. We remain united, and we are the greatest city in the world.
On that note, Mayor Sadiq Khan, thank you so much for joining us from City Hall.